Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a geodesic sphere like so. We're going to give this or make a 10-inch in diameter geodesic sphere. So from there to there, about 10 inches. And by the time we get done, we'll be producing this pattern to make this. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so here's a pattern of what's going to take to do the geodesic sphere. So just want to kind of point out really quick is that the geodesic sphere is going to consist of two shapes. So it's going to be the pentagon and hexagon. And if you notice, when you have a pentagon and hexagon butt up against one another, they share the exact same length from the edges. So this edge is the same length as this or this, and the same thing would apply on the hexagon as well. So these edges here, these lengths are equal to the pentagon. So that is what you're trying to do, but what we want to figure out is what is the length of this line here that both the pentagon and hexagon will share. So the way that I do that is, since I know that I want to make a 10-inch geodesic sphere in diameter, what I'll do is use a pi formula. So what you do is you go 10-inch times 3.1416 equals 31 7/16. Now, how many of these lines within the geodesic sphere have in diameter? Well, I'll just show you really quick. If you can imagine a line going across right here all the way around, what I found is half a hexagon is equal to two lengths to share on the edges for the pentagon and hexagon. So if you notice, this full length of the hexagon right here, if I cut it in half, it's going to be shared on the edges for both the pentagon and hexagon. So this is what I did. So I'll start from here. I'll start with this full hexagon. So you have 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So what I need to do is I'm going to divide 31 7/16 by 15. So divided by 15 equals 2 1/8. So that means that the line shared by both the pentagon and hexagon need to be 2 1/8. So it'll look like this. And that is how we're going to start the pattern, starting with the pentagon. Alright, so hopefully that made sense. If not, just let me know in the comments and I'll go more into detail. Alright, so let's begin. Let's start off by making a 2-inch and 1/8 vertical line. And we're going to be making this geodesic sphere by just making a whole bunch of circles. So let's go ahead and measure this out. 2 1/8. And we're going to lock it in place like so, and this is how you're going to keep your compass throughout the whole tutorial. So let's begin. So let's start off by making 2 circles. And take your time making these. These just need to be nice and perfect from one another. Okay, go ahead and put your sharp point here. And then swing it over and make sure that it's hitting the opposite end or center of your previous circle, and then start making your circle. Okay, so there's 2. Now let's go ahead and make 3 circles. Let's start right here, and then check your centers. And if they align, then go ahead and make your circles. Okay, put one right here. Check your centers. Looks good. Okay. Okay, let's do one right here. And then check your centers of the previous circles. Alright, so that's 3. Now let's go ahead and make 2 circles right here. Check your centers. They look good. And that one we can move it just a little bit more. Okay. Alright, let's do one right here. And check your centers. Alright, perfect. Okay, now let's do 4. Start off right here and check the centers. Okay, let's do one right here. Check the centers of the previous circles. Alright, let's do one right there. Check the centers. That one we can move just a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and on this one we need to do a mark right here so that we can find the center of the circle that's going to start right here. So put your sharp point right in this spot. Swing your compass over and then strike on an arc right there. And now put your sharp point there on that arc, and then check your centers again and make your circle. Alright, we got 4. Now let's go ahead and do 3 right here. So let's start off right here. Sharp point there, and then check your centers. The previous circles. Let's put one right here. Check the centers again. Looks good. Alright, and then one more. Put your sharp point right there, and then check the centers of the previous circles and make your circle. Okay, so there's 3. Now let's go ahead and stop right there, and we're gonna leave this compass in that same position that you see it here. Do not move it, and you're just going to leave it right there on the side. And let's go ahead and draw out our pentagon and hexagons so that we can get a shape going. Okay, so first things first is let's go ahead and make a line from this point to that point there. Make your line like so. And now what you're going to do is take your compass, and if you can see this circle here, you're going to put the edge of your ruler here on one side of that circle, and then have it run to where that vertical and that arc meet right there. and then on the opposite end of the ruler, make a mark right there. Same thing on this side. Put your ruler there and have the ruler run where the arc and that horizontal line meet, and make a mark right here. Okay, now you're going to take the compass in the same position that you used to make your circles, put your sharp point right here on this arc, and then do an arc like so. Do the same thing on this opposite end, crisscross the previous arc if you can see it, and that is your 5 points to make your pentagon. I'm gonna actually make this with the pen. It'll come out darker. Okay, then join this point here, and that's already established, which is okay. Alright, so there's a pentagon. Now let's go ahead and expose the 2 hexagons. So just follow my lead. Okay, let's do another hexagon here. Alright, so there's 2 hexagons. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, now let's go ahead and get 2 pentagons, one right here and one right here. So the same thing, we're going to go ahead and make a line right here from that circle to that circle and make a line. I know it's a little tricky, but if you can see this circle here, you're going to put your ruler here, and same thing like on this side, you're going to run it across where that arc and the line intersect each other, and then make a mark right there. Do the same thing on this opposite side, and then make a mark. Alright, in the same position that you had your compass, go ahead and put your sharp point on those previous arcs, and let's do some crisscross arcs, and let's get our pentagon drawn. So those are your 5 points for your pentagon. Alright, now let's go ahead and do another pentagon like this, but on this side of this hexagon. So same deal. You're going to run a line, in this case a horizontal line like between this point to this point. Like so. Okay, now we're going to take this circle and run our ruler. And make a mark here. Same thing on this side. Make a mark there. Now let's get this compass in the same position that you used to make your circles. Go ahead and make some crisscross arcs there. And one right here. And again, there are your 5 points for the pentagon. Okay, so we're almost there. So now we need to go ahead and get a hexagon like what we have here in this circle. So again, in the same position that you had it to make these circles, we're going to go ahead and put your sharp point right here. You're going to make a mark. And that should be the corners for your hexagon. So just follow my lead. Alright, so there it is. Now we need to get one more hexagon here and the pentagon here, and that'll finish it. That'll finish the pattern to make our geodesic sphere. So what you're going to do is, in the same position that you had it to make these circles, you're going to put your sharp point right here on this corner of the pentagon, and then swing it over to the opposite side of the corner and then make your circle. Okay, now you're going to put this sharp point on this side, this opposite end, and then check your center of the previous circle, and then go ahead and make a circle. Alrighty, in the same position, now put your sharp point right here where both circles intersect each other, and then check the centers of each circle, and then make a circle. Okay, and now put your sharp point right here, and then check your centers, and if they line up, make your circle. Okay, and then the last one is you're going to put your sharp point right here and check your centers, and then make another circle. And that should be it. This will set you up so that you can get the hexagon and pentagon. So just follow my lead. Hopefully you guys can see this with the pen. Okay, so there's a hexagon. Now let's expose the pentagon. So same deal. You're gonna run a line from this point to that point there. And then now we're going to run a line from here, crisscrossing the arc and that line that intersect each other. Make a mark there, do the same thing on this opposite end. Make a mark there, and there it is. Now in the same position that you had your compass to make your circles, go ahead and put your sharp point right here and do some crisscross arcs. And there are your points for your pentagon. So this is pretty interesting because you can just kind of, it's interesting to know that you can just make a pattern so simple by just simply making circles, and that's it. So not much brain power to do that. Okay, so there it is. So I don't know if you guys can see through all this mess, but if everything was made correctly, this should hopefully match this. So let's see. So pretty close, right? All right, so here's how this works. In order to make this geodesic sphere, you're going to need a total of 5 patterns. So the first one is going to be like this. You're going to need just one, and then the other 4 are going to look like this, like that. So one of these, and then these you need total of 4. So this is how this works. So the way this works is, you look right here on this red portion, that's going to be this yellow pattern here. So it goes like so, and kind of wraps around. This bends over like so, and it does that. See that? So you need a total of 1, and then the other 4 will go next to it, and they'll go right here like this, like that, bends around, and it gives us that geodesic sphere shape, and that's how that goes. So that is how you do a geodesic sphere. So yeah, hopefully you guys like this. This was pretty fun to do. I can only imagine how this would look like, you know, made out of metal, you know, aluminum or stainless steel or something. Maybe what I'll do is in a future video I'll make another one slightly smaller, but make it to where it'll have a circle here so that we can run a pipe of some sort. I don't know, just different ways of making this or utilizing it for something, maybe for art of some sort. But anyways, hopefully you guys got value out of this video, and if you can know a friend or a co-worker that might find value in it and wants to have fun doing one of these by just making just simple circles, go ahead and share this video with them. And so that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys liked it, and I will see you guys in the next video.